genre.
Hello and welcome back to the Doctor's Companion presents Doctor Who The Long Way Round, the weekly podcast where we review and discuss every episode of Doctor Who, one doctor at a time.
You guys may all think that we know what's going on, and we do not.
I love
I'm
you,
Nick
Nick.
Jimenez.
What is
Thank
going
you.
on? What made you laugh? What gave you the giggles just now?
I have the giggle, Scott, because today on the show we'll be discussing Time Heist, the 12th Doctor's fifth story, and it just hit me through my intro, like, oh my god, we're about to talk about Time Heist for the next hour, and that just made me laugh
Oh, okay.
because it's Time Heist.
Well, I guess that's something. I guess everybody knows what they're in for.
That
now.
sets the tone for today.
Yeah. So, Time Heist, which is aired September 20th, 2014, written by Steve Thompson and directed by Douglas McKinnon. Douglas McKinnon, I believe, yes. So he previously directed the Centauran Stratagem Poison Sky two-parter from Series 4, also The Power of Three,
Oof.
Cold War,
Okay.
Listen, which was part of this recording block, along with Flatline, and then the Husbands of River Song Christmas special. That is his run on the show.
Gosh, I don't remember Flatline at all.
Flatline's the 2D monsters where they're
Mhm.
like, it's like graffiti come to life,
Oh,
and
the
they turn you
boneless.
two-dimensional. Yeah. I wrote an article about that story in a book that was published.
Yeah, you
Wow.
Yeah.
You're both published authors. That's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, we're both in that same book. What story did you write about?
No, I'm in the classic Who one.
Oh, right. And I didn't have time to do that one, unfortunately. What story did you write about in that?
Oh my god. We already talked about it. It's the first Doctor one that's not the Daleks, it's Terry Nation. Keys of Marinus.
Oh,
Mm.
Keys of Marinus. Yep. That's a good one though. So anyway, okay, Time Heist. Stephen Moffat had long considered the possibility of an adventure which combined time travel with a heist scenario, but he had been struggling to flesh out a detailed approach to the story, basically since Series 5. Like, he always wanted to do this but could never figure it out. In 2013, Moffat asked his Sherlock co-collaborator Steve Thompson to develop a storyline in which the Doctor and Clara helped rob an extraterrestrial bank. Steve Thompson had previously, the Doctor Who stories that he worked on was The Curse of the Black Spot, which we literally just talked about, how it's a steep drop off of like the perfect unbroken run of Doctor Who stories that we had going into Series 6.
Mhm.
But he wrote The Curse of the Black Spot as well as Journey to the Center of the TARDIS. Two not particularly great episodes of Doctor Who. On the Sherlock side of things, he wrote The Blind Banker, which sucks. It's the worst. It's the worst episode of Series 1. And then he wrote the Rickenbach Fall finale of Series 2. which rules, and then The Sign
Pretty
of
good.
Three, which may very well be my favorite episode of Sherlock, of that entire show. I love The Sign of Three a lot. So I was hopeful going into this, having very little memory of it, that maybe, third time's the charm for old Steve Thompson, and he'd give us a banger of a Doctor Who story that we had all forgotten. And I've often heard people talk about this one as one from the Capaldi era that they revisit often because they find it fun. But I did not have strong memories of this. And in fact, ironically, because when he was given this story, Thompson, knowing that a Doctor Who heist episode would come with lofty expectations from fans, he watched countless heist films to prepare, and then tried to include as many heist movie tropes as he could possibly think of in order to craft as satisfying of an experience as possible. And my memory of this episode, the only memory of this episode, is being hyped for an episode of Doctor Who called Time Heist, watching the actual episode and being like, womp womp, like just being like, man, what a waste of a heist concept on Doctor Who, which sucks because that is literally what Thompson was like trying to avoid happening, and I had that exact reaction to it. That's really all I remembered. I'd forgotten all about our two co-stars in this, Sai, who could forget Sai, and Sabra,
Saber,
who apparently was originally supposed to be half Zygon.
That's so cool.
I know. That was like supposed to be her thing, was that she was half Zygon and that her human form wasn't even really her real form. But they decided to make her a mutant, I guess, instead. Let's see. Early drafts included vignettes in the cold open that introduced Sai and Sabra, with the Doctor recruiting them at the end of their vignette without any context. And that was eventually dropped because they thought it would be neater to just start with the randomly just like cut to them like having no memory and being introduced to a heist and being like, how did we get here? Why are we here? Why are we doing this? Sort of mystery of it all. And then Moffat apparently heavily rewrote Thompson's script after receiving it from him. And Thompson like moving on to like, I guess, writing his stuff for Sherlock for the next season. So Moffat rewrote it because Thompson wasn't available, and they sort of mutually agreed that Moffat should have a co-writing credit on this, which would then go on to be the way he kind of operated as showrunner after this point for the rest of his tenure, is like taking co-writing credits where he felt he deserved it. Finally, one last note that I have for this, because the making of this is not a particularly eventful thing. Michelle Gomez was originally offered the role of Ms. Delphox, but could not make it to the shoot, and they had to hire someone else instead. And she said that she wrote to Stephen Moffat and was like, hey, if you ever need someone, this is a quote, if you ever need someone for a razor cheekboned villainess, then it's me. And he immediately cast her as Missy. That worked out in Michelle Gomez's favor, I would say.
And ours.
And ours. I think that I really do like the actress who plays Ms. Delphox, even if she is what I call a Stephen Moffat special.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah. Like that is, I was like, yeah, he was writing her, and like, yes, step on me is all he was saying while he was writing her dialogue. He loves a lady that acts like this. Glasses, updo, stern, hot.
Yeah.
That's it. But Blossom, more often than not, they are like for the most part pretty age appropriate. All of these types that he has, which I'm I'm endlessly impressed by, because that is not usually the case with a lot of like writer director guys casting women and stuff that are like a type for themselves.
Right.
So I'm a little impressed by that, but otherwise,
I think the age is part of it.
yeah, maybe. I think you might be right, because I think he might have like a little bit of like a stern teacher fetish, probably going back to him being a kid.
Because he's a naughty little schoolboy.
Yes. Which is literally like, that's like half of the vibe of your impression of him, Nick.
Like, oh, don't look under your desk, you stupid bitch.
Oh, Stephen Moffat's gonna get in trouble now.
Oh God.
Anyway,
Steven!
time heist. I think that there are a lot of really interesting, good ideas in this. And none of them are executed well, because here's the thing about a heist, and this is one of the most important things about a heist. Heists can come with third act twists, but they're not about the heist themselves. They're usually about character motivations. So the reveal that the Doctor actually hired himself for this heist is a great third act heist movie reveal. But not knowing what the fuck is going on through the entirety of this, that is the antithesis of a heist story.
Right.
You're supposed to go into this knowing every beat of how this is supposed to work.
Right.
And then you have to see these experts have to think on their feet when the thing they think is supposed to happen doesn't happen. And they have to like switch it up and like maneuver through that and improvise.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you want out of a heist thing. I don't know what the fuck this is, but it's not a heist. It's just not. It's like,
It's a crime.
yeah, it's just a crime. It keeps telling me that it's a heist, but it's not a heist. There's nothing heisty about it at all. I don't know if you guys kind of feel the same way, but that was what I kind of came away from this with.
No, I think that like hearing you explain it that way, like is how I also feel, because like, because we like the big thing about like heist movies, you have like okay, here's how it's going to work, and they outline the plan, and then they do like the little montage where the plan goes according to plan until it doesn't, and then like not knowing the plan and like that being the point of the episode is really weird, and like the character motivation, like I have no tie to these two random people who just show up.
Yes.
So then, like, when they quote unquote die, I'm just like, oh, that sucks. Like, they were cool. you know?
To me, I feel like it would be so much more satisfying if we didn't come in media res like we do. And instead, it's part of the plan that, like, okay, now we have to, like, erase our memories so that we can go into this and get past this guy who's going to be able to read our minds, right? Because then we as the audience know this is part of the plan, and we're watching the characters be like, why the hell did we do this?
Mm-hmm.
And that is, I think, more interesting, because it is kind of showing them improvising a little bit in that way that like you want from a heist story.
Mm-hmm.
But like what we get instead is basically like, I don't know, it kind of reminded me less of a heist movie and more of like a Impossible Mission Force mission. It's a Mission Impossible story, or a Mission Impossible episode or movie sequence in a movie.
It's like a puzzle room.
Yeah.
But like the fun of a puzzle room is interacting with the room instead of watching these people interact with the room,
Yeah, true. Yeah.
No, it's like you exactly what you're both saying. Like the pleasure of watching like an Ocean's movie or a heist episode of a show is like, okay, Clara, a lady called me on my phone and she's like, hey, my dying wish is for you to break into this bank.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but I like her vibe. Like, we're going to have to recruit 2 cool scoundrels, and all right, boys, with the map of the layout of the place and like, because that's the fun. And yeah, it's kind of like also like kind of microwave Memento.
Yes.
A little bit.
Yes. Ending this on the plan makes absolutely no sense whatsoever as a heist concept. And it almost makes me wonder, like, was all of the original stuff, like, was the plan kind of in place in Thompson's script? exactly with the vignettes and gathering up the crew and doing the whole thing was all in there. And then when Moffat took the script over, he's the one that changed all of that to be like flip-flopped and out of order because he wasn't as worried about the fans not feeling satisfied by the heist of it all. This
like
is, of
the
course, coming
expectation of the title Time Heist.
right. This
Yeah.
episode, of course, coming directly after the episode Listen, which was all about Moffat deciding he needed to start listening to the fans.
Right. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. Okay.
There's, I guess to like, you know, because I started with being negative, arguably. This is like, there's enough in here where I was like, oh, like kind of satisfying. Like, I didn't feel like my time was wasted watching this, except when you think of like, oh my God, it's a Doctor Who episode called Time Heist.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Yep. This is like I don't know. Like the problem for me, the reason that I would give it like a C+ is literally just because of the way the story is told is just so inherently broken against like what you would want it to be as a story called Time Heist. Because most of this, like you said, Nick, most of this is the memento thing of like them not having their memories, and that has nothing to do with time travel. Like, and in fact, like the whole Time Heist of it all is only the clone lady, right? Of like wanting him to go back and break into the bank thing. Like it just
yeah,
the only because they can just get teleported away. It's not like they go back in time, right? Yeah. So it's just like this sucks. Like in terms of like if you're gonna call this Time Heist, like that sucks. How unsatisfying is this?
Like the Avengers did a time heist.
Hell yeah, they did.
Yes.
Hell yeah, they did.
And we got the plan, and we had like the character motivation.
Yeah.
Man.
Good
job.
God. Oh man, that would have been such a baller thing to do for like that would be, or I should say that would be a baller thing to do for like a future like anniversary special.
He has to go into different parts of his timeline and like get stuff out.
Definitely. Or just specifically, I was thinking more in terms of like the Day of the Doctor just being like two guys, right? Of like 10 and 11, like let's have them interact. You just do whoever the modern Doctor is during like the next anniversary special, and he has to like go back and break into the Pandorica, and like we find out how we got the switcheroo between like 11 and Amy in that process of that happening, you know, where it's like, oh yeah, that's a time heist. Now we're talking, you know.
That's funny.
But the way that this operates, I would not even call this a time heist. It's just so yeah, I don't know.
I will say that I do like, despite like all of this stuff that we've been talking about, I do like the conceit, or like especially like the hard transition between the Doctor answering the phone and then being in the room and having no idea what's going on. Like I like pieces of this, but as like a whole picture, it doesn't work.
Yeah, I agree with that. Because it's like, but I think you could even, because the problem is just that like it's like that's cool, but then it's done better when in the next Christmas special they do the same thing.
With the alien
Nick Frost Santa Claus. Yeah. It's the same thing. It's like a memory. Like, how did we get here? What's going on? Like, it's that whole thing again, and it's done so much better than it is here. And so like, yeah, this isn't even really a good example of that, unfortunately. I do like that hard cut. I think it's interesting, but I think it would have been more interesting almost to do as like we set it all up like you're supposed to, because it's a heist.
Right.
Okay, this is the plan. This is what we're going to do. All right, everybody touch the worm, right? And then you just cut back to like them back in Clara's apartment, and we just get to see a rerun of the cold open again. Phone rings, he goes to pick it up, and then hard cut to them waking up, so that you're like, oh, okay, this is all they remember. They just remember going from there straight to here. Got it. I feel like that would be like you'd get the best of both worlds at that point. I don't know, but it's just frustrating. The whole thing is frustrating.
I guess I should do like the plot rundown of this.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Clara's getting ready for a date. This is a great Clara outfit. By the
Oh,
way.
yeah.
It is.
Um,
All timer for sure. This is also where we start the whole thing that the people who bail on the show were like, fuck Moffat, where she's like, see what I have. He's like, yeah, why is there so many contours on your face? Like that whole like weird thing where like everyone was like, oh, Moffat hates women because he's making the Doctor be an alien. And like not recognize that she's like prettied up, like she's got makeup on and she's like gussied up. I don't really understand. That was a whole thing where when Tumblr really had it out for Moffat, that was like one of the things that they were like,
I think I
yeah.
remember that.
Yeah. Why does
Yeah,
he
it
hate,
was just
he
like
just thinks
how
Clara's so ugly. He talks about it all the time. So
and how he like fixates on like her looks and like, why do you look like that? Why are
Yeah.
you short? And I think in the script it was supposed to be like, oh, he's an alien, he doesn't know what a body is. But it was so like, I think some fans found it so pointed on like her looks and like objectifying her in a weird kind of backwards insulting way.
yeah. Yeah.
I think, and in some cases it works, and in some cases it doesn't.
Sure.
Like I think it really depends on, I don't know, maybe like the director.
Who's writing it? Or
Yeah.
Yeah, the director. Of like, yeah, because sometimes at its best, it does come off as like Mork and Mindy. Like, why did you color your face in? And it's like, Doctor.
Right.
Yeah,
It's makeup, you idiot. But sometimes it's like,
right.
So she's getting ready for a date with Danny Pink, and the Doctor gets
Who could forget?
yeah. The Doctor gets a phone call on the TARDIS phone, and Clara is immediately interested. And then they end up in the scenario where they have had their memories wiped. They have consented to having their memories wiped. They have two other people in this room with them, Sai and is that how you say her name? Saber?
Saber? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Sai is like a cyborg. Haha, that's why his name's Sai. And
Except it's annoyingly spelled PSI.
yeah, like the Greek letter.
Yeah.
And so he's like an augmented human, and then she is like some kind of mutant. And her
shape-shifting mutant. Yeah.
Yeah, her superpower is if she touches you, like she can take your form. But
she can mystique you.
But like, can she control it? Like, it seems like she can control it, but then like I don't know.
Because the first time Clara sees her do it is because she looks like the worm for a second.
Yeah. So they're breaking into the most secure bank in the universe. There's someone called the Architect who is walking them through the steps as they're, I don't know, in the bank. They like find suitcases. And
it's kind of almost reality show like when you describe it like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a puzzle room.
Yeah, it's an escape room. Yeah. It's like the video you watch before you enter the escape room.
Yeah.
The Architect here, you're getting closer.
Right.
Do this.
It's like,
it's got pre-ride show video energy.
That's so weird. And like as an interactive thing, that would be really cool. But as an episode of television, it's
can you imagine that? Hello, it's me, Peter Capaldi. Grab this.
Right.
Who's in P12?
Yeah. There's this alien that Stephen Moffat's type lady. What is her name? It's Miss something. Miss
Del Fox.
Yeah. She's like the head of security. There's an alien called the Teller, and the aliens thing is they keep it in the bank to sense guilt. And it's kind of like they stop crime before it happens because this alien is like, oh, that guy is like a shifty person and
he's here to do crime.
He's here to do a crime. And we see the alien like feed on this guy's like mental energy, like his thoughts, and then like his skull caves in, which is like pretty horrible.
Yeah.
And
also pretty weird that happens. that this apparently happens so often that the guy in front of them is also there to do a crime. You would think if it happens that often that this place would get a reputation of like, hey, don't do crimes there.
Right. Yeah.
They got a guy there that just knows you're going to do a crime.
Yeah. And this is also the part that I was like a little confused by, because I was like, well, wait, they had their memories wiped so they could avoid this guy. But also they were just told that they're there to
rob
a bank in the video they just watched before they showed up. So like,
how did it not alert the teller?
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is the fundamental problems with the story, I think.
But if we had known that, if like, oh no, the teller is scanning them. Oh, but that's right. They don't know they're there to rob the bank, so it wouldn't come on. It wouldn't raise their alarm.
Right. Yeah. Because if you know that they did that, then they could have set up like, okay, so what we're gonna do? We're all gonna touch the worm. We're all gonna forget, and then there's gonna be we're gonna be like, hey, your memory was erased on purpose. Don't worry about it. Don't ask questions. Just go.
I guess we're not here to rob the bank.
Yeah, just go and meet this guy in this room in this bank, and everything will be fine. This is how you get there, and then like we know as the audience members they're there to rob it, but they don't know, and therefore they can get past the teller. But we're in a mixed up situation where they don't want us knowing all the information. They're withholding information from us and them. And so they need us to know that they're there to rob a bank. But in order to do that, they have to know that they're there to rob a bank, therefore defeating the purpose of having amnesia in the first place. This episode's exhausting.
It only lasts like 2 minutes, and then they're like, yeah, we're here to rob a bank. So they get past the lobby, they go into like the elevator to like the secure vaults. They get like the alarm trips again. I did like the like displacer bomb thing that like cuts the hole in the floor and then puts it back. That's pretty clever. I like all the sci-fi gadgets in this one, I guess.
And the teller has a cool design.
Yeah.
It reminded me of somebody that I was like thinking about the whole time. Oh,
Fifth Element.
He reminds me of he reminds me of Mikey from Men in Black. The guy at the beginning in the field. Yeah,
that's funny. He has like a Star Wars alien vibe, but I think it's like because it's prosthetics.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of that like in the later Moffat era, like post Series 5. Because like I think about the room with the blue head guy.
Oh yeah,
that bar with like all the kooky aliens, and I'm like, that's very
Cantina.
Yeah, very Cantina, totally.
So they get down into the vaults. I keep wanting to call her Madame Kevorkian, but she's the other one.
Same font,
Miss Delphox. Unleashes the frees the teller to like go hunt them down. The teller finds Saber first, and one of the suitcases that they picked up from the architect has like these little devices that the doctor says is like it like atomizes you. So it's like kind of like a last resort thing, like if you get caught, use this because it's a better way to die than getting your brain liquefied
because it's instant.
Yeah. So she is the first one to kind of go. Sai is trying to hack into the mainframe using his like computer in his head. And then he
like sucks in all of the guys, all of these like old Doctor Who villains.
Because it like locks onto Clara, and then he uses himself as a distraction.
Yeah, he's basically like, I just downloaded all of the TARDIS wiki for every villain, every Doctor Who villain. Come and get.
Did you guys notice anybody?
There was like a little Slitheen, and I was like, aha, hey.
Yeah. There was like some guys from, I guess, like there was some Torchwood characters. There were some Sarah Jane Adventures characters.
Oh,
some Doctor Who characters, and also like a few comic characters as well.
Oh,
was Pong Pong there? What was the penguin names?
I don't think so. I don't think Frobisher was in there.
Frobisher.
Yeah. I don't remember. Yeah, but there were apparently
you
there are
imagine?
some comic characters in there.
Spins around. He's like smoking a cigar. It's like, hey, Doc.
God.
I was behind the time travel heist.
Oh man. Did we
So
talk
then
about who
he-
should voice Frobisher if he ever shows up in Doctor Who?
I
Yes,
believe we said. I
did.
believe, yeah.
Yeah.
Cass, do you remember?
No.
It was. I believe we settled on Natasha Lyonne.
Oh,
Oh
that's
yes.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. For some reason, my memory was Andrew Garfield, but you're right. It was Natasha Lyonne.
Hey, Frobisher, it's me. I mean, hey, Doctor, it's me, Frobisher.
Yeah.
I got a problem.
So he unfortunately like dies. And it's just the Doctor and Clara. His hacking only worked so much, so like they can't get into the vault, but then there's like a storm outside, and then that's when the Doctor realizes like, oh, they were sent here at the specific time because of this storm. So they get into the vault. They find our character motivation in the vault. They're like directed to, there's like the gene suppressant thing for Saber. There's like the sci-fi gadget that gets Sai's memories back because he's had to wipe his memory before.
Right.
And then they go to the private vault. They are apprehended. Before they get there, they have a conversation with Miss Delphox, and then like the two guards that are in there that are supposed to like kill them are revealed to be Sai and Saber because they weren't atomized, they were teleported out, which if you can teleport out of the bank, but I don't know, whatever. The security, whatever. Anyway, so they're teleporting devices. There's a ship waiting for them. The TARDIS is there, and the Doctor's like kind of putting everything together. They go down in the private vault, and then it's revealed that like the founder of the bank has made clones of herself to like run the banks on her
Because
behalf.
she only trusts herself to run security in her banks.
Yeah,
so
but she
clones
doesn't
herself.
trust herself because she keeps
Right.
destroying them over and over.
Little Mr. Sinister.
Because we
vibe.
keep going back to this theme of like you wouldn't like yourself if you looked yourself in the eyes or whatever. Yeah.
And then
everybody's own worst enemies themselves. Or something.
the Doctor realizes that like the reason, because like throughout the whole episode he's like, I hate the architect, I can't remember what but he sounds like a bastard.
I hate him.
So then he puts together that he is the architect of the heist.
There's only one person he could hate this much.
Right. And he's like, why would I do that? And then it turns out that the reason is because as an old woman, like the Doctor gives the bank lady his like TARDIS phone number and is just like, hey, I'm a time traveler, call me up if you have any regrets or whatever. So the phone call at the beginning of the episode is her calling the Doctor because of
on her deathbed as an elderly woman.
Yeah.
Guilt.
And it's revealed that the teller, the alien, who's supposed to be the last of its kind, was actually like working for the bank under duress because like its mate or like it's there's like a lady alien.
Another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the vault. And so the Doctor saves them all before the solar storm wipes the bank off the face of the planet.
Yeah.
And there's two aliens in love. The end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because she was
And
basically
then-
like, yeah, I really regret doing that. And then it resulting in like the bank getting destroyed. And because of that, they were like, they both died. And, I'm just like, now I just feel like an asshole.
I didn't have to do
which
that.
is which I also need to point out, if that's her motivation, why would you not have them rob the bank at the beginning of when it opened instead of right before the storm?
Right.
Because clearly she doesn't regret it that much, because she's like, no, I need to keep him around for as long as possible.
How
Right.
long was he
to the
in there?
last possible minute. But then after that, you can take him away. I regret that he died. I don't regret torturing him and keeping
Keeping
his
him in that
loved one
straitjacket for like 30 years or whatever.
Yes. Yeah.
But it has to be said, we return to Clara's iconic and really like 2014 as fuck costume.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
I was just picturing her listening to like, Do I Want to Know while like putting on her makeup or something. Or, like boom clap.
Yeah.
And she goes on her date with Danny Pink, and then it's like at the end the doctor is like, try giving her a time travel heist, you dumb fucking soldier ass boyfriend ass Danny Pink. And it's like, oh, okay, that's not what this whole thing was for.
There's a lot of weird energy happening with the doctor and soldiers, and
Yeah.
we were very baffled by this
Yeah.
season. Yeah.
I feel like we still will be. But
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if
And
it holds up better than we remember.
I had this thought multiple times during Time Heist, going into the Caretaker next week, is like, this was the worst timing for the show.
Mm.
Like, for these kinds of episodes to be dropping. Like, I think they were already had like a handicap with losing 11 and like having like an older doctor.
Mhm.
Mm.
And then to have like, with the exception of Listen, these really like middle of the road, mediocre, forgettable episodes was like the worst timing.
Yeah. I'll be perfectly honest. You know what I kept thinking about the whole time I was watching this? I was like, this feels like a Jodie Whittaker episode. Like, this does not feel like a Capaldi era episode. Like, these two guys, like Sai and what's her Saber, they feel
They could have
like
been in Flux.
They feel like Flux characters, or like they just feel like Chibnall. Like,
my name's Jax. I'm a space smuggler. And
Yeah.
I've got a robot arm.
like I kept waiting for like a Tooth Man to show up, and like it felt in the aesthetic of this episode. In fact, also just feels very Whittaker era, like very Whittaker era.
I will say, to Chibnall's credit, I feel like he would have given Sai and Saber like more to chew on, like
This
character-wise.
probably would have been like a two-parter, right? Under
Yeah.
him, like at that
Right.
point.
Oh, it's cool. Yeah, like the setup and then the payoff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have
The
been
Pandorica opening and then the Big Bang.
Yeah. As long as the payoff was better than the payoff that we got here.
Yeah.
That would be good. Yeah.
It's Jack Harkness. He's the realtor or whatever.
Yeah. Now we're talking. Yeah, unfortunately, like I was really hoping to have like a new episode from this era that I can be like, oh yeah, that is a good one. Because it seems to be one that people like a lot, but like, man, this just did not do it for me. Because it just doesn't come together in the way that you want it to.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to hear like why people do like this.
I think it's vibes,
Just
like
vibes?
a lot of things. I think people just like the vibes of this, for the most part. But
Just gift sets of Clara.
yeah, right. Yeah, so that's Time Heist. I don't think we need to belabor that particular point. Also, we're at the end of our run of the 11th season of Long Way Round.
Dang.
Yeah, so I guess we should talk about what we're doing next season on the show. We will be taking a short hiatus. I believe this is airing in the middle of September, and we'll be back at the beginning of October with the new season. So just a little break, nothing crazy, because we do want to be done with the new round until before the Christmas special.
Wow.
But yeah, so next season for the 12th run at Long Way Around, we're going to start with the first Doctor story, The Rescue, which, Nick, is 2 parts. 2.
Wow.
Yeah, 2 episodes.
It's like half an hour.
I know. Yeah, so that's The Rescue. That's what we're going to start with, which will be interesting to see how we're going to be able to
quick rescue.
How are we going to be able to pad that out, that episode with just 2 episodes to talk about.
Oh, are we getting a new companion?
Yeah. Is that Vicky's
yes.
introduction?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
That's fun.
Yeah. Well, Victoria, right?
No, Vicky.
Vicky? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh.
because Victoria is the second Doctor one.
Oh, right. That's right. Yes, we do get Vicky. Okay. So then we have that, and then the second Doctor story where we will be talking about the Web of Fear.
Yeah.
Which I believe is the introduction of the Brigadier.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, the Brigadier's very first story. You're going to get to watch the Brigadier in black and white.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm the Brigadier.
Yeah. Pretty exciting stuff. So we'll have that, and then we have the Sea Devils, which is the introduction of those characters. Which is I don't remember being a particularly good or memorable story.
I like it.
Okay.
I think it's 6 parts, so right?
It's a little yeah. So maybe it's a little thin for 6 parts, but otherwise okay, solid. All right. Well, I hope so. I hope so. Then we have with the fourth Doctor, the Mask of Mandragora, which I literally remember nothing about.
Yeah, I don't remember that one at all.
No. I always just think of Majora's Mask every time. Every time it comes up. That's all I'm thinking about. Then we have for the fifth Doctor, we'll be wrapping up the Black Guardian trilogy with Enlightenment.
Yes.
Which is
the Turlo saga.
Yeah. The Black Guardian trilogy will come to an end with Enlightenment, and Enlightenment is the best part of it.
That's my favorite fifth Doctor story.
Yeah, it's killer stuff. And it says a lot about how good it is when I can't be mad at that, despite the Caves of Androzani of it all. I still can't be mad at it. That's how good it is.
Yeah.
That's a respectable choice. Enlightenment rules. Then with the sixth Doctor, we continue our Big Finish audio, but we start to get into like his kind of arc in Big Finish audio with the introduction of his first Big Finish companion in the Marian conspiracy. This is basically this is Evelyn, and this is the beginning of like the sixth Doctor traveling through the stars with the equivalent of like McGonagall from Harry Potter.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, it rules. It's just an elderly woman traveling the stars with the sixth Doctor, constantly putting him in his place. It rules.
She's like his Donna. She has no patience for any of his bullshit, and it's like the best thing that ever happened to him.
Oh, it's great. I'm really excited to get to that one. And then we have we'll be wrapping up the seventh Doctor with Survival. 3 short episodes that like weirdly tee up the 1996 film in many ways.
Love it.
Yeah. Mostly the eyes thing. Remember the eyes thing? The Master's eyes?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's we'll talk about it next time, but it's just it's a really weird aspect of the 1996 movie that they like carried on from that one thing, almost as if the whoever designed that had never seen any other Master in like story except for the one.
That's the most iconic part about the Master, his eyes.
Yeah, his weird cat eyes. Yeah. So weird. We'll be wrapping up the seventh Doctor as a TV character in the next round. With the eighth Doctor, we'll be dipping our toe into the one and only story that we'll be talking about in that universe where the Doctor went to. It's a story called Scherzo. It rules. It's fantastic. It breaks the format in really fun ways. It's a relationship drama just about the Doctor and his companion, and they are just like coming to terms with like what they mean to each other and what they should mean to each other. It rules. It's so good. That is Scherzo. Definitely check that one out. It is on Spotify if you guys want to listen along. So is the Marian Conspiracy, by the by. Then we will start the third series of New Who with Smith and Jones and the introduction of Martha.
The platoon of Judoon on the Moon.
Yeah, exactly. Excited to revisit that one. I remember it being very, very fun. And then we have The Impossible Astronaut, Day of the Moon, the conclusion to the glorious Toby Haynes trilogy of stories that ends with a moment that I cite as the peak, the absolute tippy top peak of my Doctor Who fandom. And I'm excited to gush about that as well again. And then finally, as Nick alluded to, our 12th Doctor story is The Caretaker.
Woof.
Yep. Which is like them trying to do they're like, hey, what if we did another one with Craig, only without Craig this time?
Right.
Yeah. Instead we use Danny Pink. Danny Pink is our Craig now.
You're the Craig now, dog.
Yeah. So that's it. That's the next round. It's a pretty good. It's a little bit of a mixed bag, but not too bad. It's pretty solid overall, I would say.
Sometimes it leads to better episodes.
That's true. Sometimes it does. So yeah, we'll be back in like I think 3 weeks with the start of that season with the rescue. So yeah, in the meantime, like this and subscribe on YouTube, join the Discord if you haven't already. Check out duelinggenre.com/support for all that stuff that we've got going on over there. Support us continuing this thing, I guess, into infinity. And yeah, we'll talk to you in a few weeks. Bye, everybody.